Welcome back, Founding Champions. It's Scott here with Founding Champions, and today I've got another video for you about order control. Now, I made a video a long time ago about some kind of, aspect of the C order control list, and those were good and all, but now as we've moved into the era of banning certain cards or, you know what I mean, doing a orc errata and all that, all these new developments, things have changed a little bit. And we have learned on what cards are good and bad, and we've come up with this. So, aspect of the sea, full total control. We are going to shut down one of their lanes with this. And we're using a card that we haven't seen too much of, and it's Lord Aquilor. So, not too many people have been playing with this recently. It's at the end of the champion placement phase, you may swap the position of two highlighted champions. One of the issues with Aspect of the Sea is sometimes he gets to be across a champion that doesn't play that many creatures, units I mean. Maybe it's a wizard, or it's just a unit that he does, or a champion that he doesn't want to play units on, So we do want him across the most optimal champion, and Lord Aquilor does help to do that. So when you start off and set up the board, you're going to want to put these Liberator Primes to the side, and then depending on what your opponent does, you're going to want to then choose where you want these guys, and then that's how that's going to look like. Then he's going to do a cone, and you're going to swap three of their champions, and that is going to give you full control, I guess 3/4 control of the board. We're going to put those to the side now, put these up here, and then we're going to move on next to the Blessings. Healing Storm gives us time to continue playing our very powerful cards. We have Abjuration, really good at shutting down opposing units, doing a little bit of damage, and Divine Blast, just outstanding card, 6 damage, gain 2 health. And then our wild card slot for our Blessings, I've chosen to put in a Storm's Descent. Storm's Descent is good. It gives you your action back once you activate it. Allows you to swap the position of any 2 champions along any 4 of your champions. You can just up and switch. But allows you to better place Aspect of the Sea for what's going on currently. So even if he flips it over, he can still switch with Aspect, or something like that. So, or if Aspect flips it over, then he can switch with anybody else. And that does give you an advantage. Now, you can put a different blessing in, and it may be better depending on what you're playing against, or how you play, your play styles, etc. And so that's why I call it the wild card blessing. It can be just about anything else. We're going to go ahead and scoop these up, put these to the side. Next up, we have our units. And we have a, I'd say, pretty standard unit lineup. We've got the Storm Strike Fulminators, does damage and prevents damage all in one. Platinum Decimator, 6 damage on a guy. Our usual suite of control, Hurricane Raptor and Disruptive Liberator. And then we have 3 one-ofs that I'm testing out to see if I like. Strike Force Liberator, pretty good when you get it early. It's also good against death. They like to gain a lot of health and hover around 20. So he's pretty good against them. Biovoltaic Morsar Guard. I wanted one beast to have the off chance of being able to use it on him. And damage to your opponent increases by 2 and remove highlighted units if this champion has completed its quest. And guess what? It is the last quest that needs to be activated here with the beast right here. So it is our only non-Stormcast unit in the deck. And then we have Platinum Protector. Straight up hoses certain decks. It's also good against death. A lot of people have been playing death recently. So, and it's good against like a destruction and chaos that likes to push a lot of damage in a short period of time. So those are my one-ofs, and you can switch those around. I do like this core package of units, though. It's hard for me to want to switch any of those guys out. Next up, we're going to have our spells. We have our Inspired Glories to put on the Aspect of the Sea, and when they try and dodge Aspect of the Sea, you'll be drawing cards, so that's pretty powerful. And then Warding Light, it does damage and gains life, which is very good when Aspect of the Sea is trying to also rotate. And as you notice, none of these cards are turbo rotation champions, right? So nobody's rotating too incredibly fast. But I do usually get Aspect of the Sea to rotate first. If I have multiple spells in my hand, say I've drawn 2 cards already with this, well, I'm going to go ahead and use its last corner. I'm just going to pop it, gain that 2 health, and then immediately play a different spell like Warding Light. Now you can't pop Inspired Glory then play another one, but you can follow it up with a Warding Light. And I do like to make that play because then eventually it's going to rotate, and then I'll just simply play another Inspired Glory. So that is the strategy that I employ there. I'll move these to the side. For now, pay attention to the bottom left of your screen, and we got 3 Triumphant Smash. Again, we all know how good that card can be. It's just, in my opinion, the best removal in the game. You know, especially I would use this, you know, all these guys as an example, basically. But say you do 4 damage, then you can kill their guy, reduce further damage that they send to you, and then deal another 4 to them. So, you know, the destruction version of this card says deal 1 damage to your opponent, while this card could say deal anywhere between 0 to 5 more damage to your opponent. So, you know, especially when you got some guy like this, you've dealt 3, now use it, deals 2, the next turn deals another 3. So, yeah, it does up to 5 damage, keeps your Hurricane Raptors and Disruptive Liberators around longer. Of course, you do have to play the Hurricane Raptor and Destructive Liberator on a champion that already has an opposing unit in front of it. So use this when their opposing unit's about to rotate out, and then when they, you know, or when they first play it, excuse me, when they first play it, then you play this, and before it rotates out, you play the Triumphant Smash, kills their guy, and then keeps their lane locked. Next up, we got 3 Piercing Shots. Good for damage, and you don't exactly have to use it just for the abilities. You can use it for damage first, then play a guy, as long as you have another ability in your hand. And then we have Lord of the Host. Okay, a card that we normally only saw in, you know, Celestant decks and things like Vor Starstrike decks. We are able to play it with our Lord Ackler because he's exactly 7. You know, we can't play anybody with 8 because then we wouldn't be able to play the Aspect. So this puts us at 18. With that 2 left, we play the Liberator Primes. The Lord of the Host here is just an outstanding card in certain situations. You're getting that 2 health, but then you're getting a full card out of it. So you do your 3 damage, and you play Lord of the Host, and boom, here he goes. He's going to do a whole another 6. And it's just really good. And it's really good at keeping around these Hurricane Raptors and Destructive Liberators. So we're doing damage to our opponent, gaining life, and our opponent just can't do too much. We've controlled the board way too much. You know, if they're trying to stack on a certain lane, they're not going to be able to do that because we're just locking them down. And in my opinion, that's pretty dang good. So I've played quite a few games with Aspect variants, and this is my favorite Aspect of the Sea variant, and this may be the last time I post about Aspect of the Sea until set 2. So without further ado, I do want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have an outstanding day. And again, we are the 5th Grand Alliance because we are part of the community. We like this game. We enjoy it very much. And guys, have an amazing day.